When I was building a few n8n automations on my n8n cloud instance on a starter plan, I noticed that it's not possible for me to see how much executions I had several days in ago because the workflow execution history is saved only for 7 days or so. But at the same time, I also did not have a way to look at the number of executions across different workflows across time. For example, when you open an n8n dashboard, you can see all the executions that have been happening at every point in time, but it's hard to see the aggregate here. On the other hand, there is an insights feature, but then the insights feature is a paid feature. So I was trying to understand API to build a dashboard with a data persistence layer. How this works is it fetches the number of executions and the name of all the workflows and the type of executions. So it shows me by default production executions, how many I had successful versus failed at any point, but I can also see manual executions. One of the things that I would like to track myself is how much of manual executions am I doing, because that's also a sign of how engaged am I being with the product. So this is one way for me to do telemetry on my own usage. When I scroll down from here, I can also see the number of executions per workflow and success failure split. This is again important because I want to understand, if one is that there is a limit, right? 2,500 workflow executions a month or so. So if I'm hitting that limit, I need to know, and I also need to know where do I need to reduce something. Also, if there is time when I'm thinking of just random improvement about something, it's best for me to improve workflows which have more executions maybe, or take more time, or have more complications. And this gives me one of those axes, which is the number of executions. Lastly, default features that nowadays I built in every web app is day or night mode and some way to persist the data. For example, in this case, we have edge functions in Supabase, which fetch the information from n8n API. And then I also store it in a database in Supabase so that we can see data for more than the last 7 days. For example, now I recently built this, so there's not a lot of data previously, but soon I'll expect to have weekly and monthly data over many days and weeks and months. At which time then I needed to figure out when do we sync the history from n8n to Supabase n8n instance. And so I built this thing where the first time you open this web app every day, it will sync that information over. So which means if you open the web app at least once every 7 days, it'll keep fetching that information. Since this works, if I find more value here, a further improvement in here could be I use the n8n MCP for the instance, and then I can also have a AI chat layer here to customize this in ways by typing to it.